I'm Andy Meyer, I'm the founder of Studying.com. We're about to grow to $1 million per year. We have 35 employees worldwide, so we have a lot of expenses and liabilities, and I want to figure out how much cash holding versus expenses a lot of these big companies have. Now, I have nothing to sell you in these videos. I just want to bring you guys on my journey from 0 to $1 million to 10 million to $1 billion per year, and I just want you guys along for the journey. So let's jump into this video and figure out and analyze what the top companies are doing. So let's go top companies by market cap. Wow, Apple cash holding. Wow, Apple's massive. Crazy how they're the biggest. Amazon was not as big as I expected. Okay, so they have 2 billion in cash holding. Apple yearly expenses. Wow. So their annual expenses were 250 billion, and they only have 200 billion cash holding. Interesting. So right now, our company, we're probably spending around, like some months, it's like we've been spending $35,000 a month over the last few months. We just have a lot of, we're doing a lot of investing and reinvesting into the company and the students and the team members and the product. So that means right now, they have 200 billion divided by 250. So they have roughly around 80% cash holding versus yearly expenses. So if I do 35,000, let's do 32 and a half. Times that by 12. Do I spend on a year? Probably, 30 times 12. So we've got like $330,000 in expenses a year at this current rate. Now, it wasn't this expensive. It's only been this expensive over the last few months while we've been scaling. So 80% of that. So that means I need 288,000 in just cash. Now, marketable securities. So let's, does crypto cash? So let's go Apple marketable securities. Okay, let's look at their balance sheet. So right now, let me take these notes down. So Apple cash holding versus expenses, because the next level is how do you split up your cash holdings? So Apple 250 billion in annual expenses, 200 billion in cash holding. Now let's do a breakdown on their cash holding. This just says they have 50 billion, 44 billion, but that doesn't add up to 200. Oh, here it does. So it looks like they have 50 billion in cash equivalents, 44 billion in marketable securities. Now I need to learn what marketable securities is. Account receivable. I need to figure out what that is as well. 14.1 billion account receivable. And that's big. They got 36 billion in property, plant, and equipment. So now let's search up marketable securities. Now I'm learning, okay, I don't need 288,000 in cash because that's going to be hard. I could have that cash be split up into things like assets, like my car, I guess, my G-Wagon, or stuff like crypto. I have a decent amount of money in crypto. Marketable securities, assets that can be liquidated to cash quickly. Crypto is marketable because it's quite liquidable, but then what happens if I put the crypto into NFTs? That ties it up into less liquid assets. Okay, but next is what's account receivable? So let's search up Apple account receivable. So this matches, they have quite a lot of money in account receivable. Okay, so I guess it's money owed to the business. So I guess, is it payment plans? Does that count as account receivable? Okay, look, this is breaking it down. I'm learning. See, why do you need a degree? I'm learning in this 8 minutes. I'm learning way more than I would learn in a freaking economics degree. I've done an economics degree. No, I've done a subject, Econ 100. It's the first subject of economics. I don't have an economics degree. I'm learning so much more doing this. They figure a way to calculate it, because I'm thinking with account receivable, what if the customer defaults and just doesn't pay? does it take into account that? So this formula takes Ben Graham, he's like the intelligent investor. He only makes account receivable worth 75%, which makes sense because you're going to have people not paying. And then inventories, he makes that 50%, which makes sense because that takes into account depreciation. I don't even want to break this down yet because I want to compare it to Amazon. Amazon might do things completely different. So because Amazon is like such innovators. Amazon yearly expenses. Wow, their expenses are way high, like more like, oh wow, they're half as big as Apple. I didn't know Apple was that big. Wow, how does Apple have twice the amount of revenue? I guess everyone buys Apple. I guess Amazon only makes like 10% of every sale, whereas Apple makes the whole amount and it's high ticket. Okay, so their expenses is 105 billion annual expenses. So their ratio is roughly around even higher, 85% cash on hand, whereas Apple is 80. Oh, Apple's less, 80% cash on hand. Wow, so Amazon's more sort of risk tolerant. Now how do I get a breakdown of the cash? Amazon cash on hand breakdown. It's so cool how there's just so much data. So it looks like it's fixed, it's like split between cash and short-term investments, 50-50. And they do receivable 0. Oh, 24. Okay, let's look into account receivable. Amazon, oh wow, so this does not take it. This market watch, let's see how it does it for Apple. So we have to add up, their 200 billion is like 90 plus 37 plus 30 plus 44 plus 11. Oh wow, total assets. So looking at this number. So Amazon 2020 cash on hand. Oh, let's look at income statement and look at expenses. Oh, I'll just follow this. So if this is the cash on hand, it's 90 billion. So I guess I get the difference from revenue and gross profit. Oh no, gross profit is already there. So is this expenses? That can't be it. This is too much for operating expenses. Amazon 2020 expenses. Expenses aside, let's break down their cash on hand. So this is their balance sheet. If they have 132 billion total asset, 42 billion is cash, 42 billion is short-term investments, 24 billion is account receivable, and they have 23.4 billion in. So what I'm seeing is, okay, let's say my yearly expenses is 30 times up by 12, 360 a year, $360,000 every year. Now out of that, account receivables is usually 20%, will it be? Okay, so Apple, the account receivable is 9.677%. And then for Amazon, account receivable, I'm just gonna follow Amazon. Like, I'm not like Apple where I have so much money I don't know where to put it. I'm like Amazon where I'm just like, I need more money to reinvest and grow this company and hire more amazing talent. So 32% cash, 32% short-term investments, 18% assets. So if I have $360,000 I need, I can only have 65K in assets, which I've sort of gone a bit overboard because I definitely have like my G-Wagon watch is definitely more than 65K. Damn, okay. Lesson learned, 32,000. I need, wow, $115,000 in cash and $115,000 in short-term investments. Now, let's figure out what is Amazon's short-term investments. Amazon cash and short-term Damn, we're digging nicer and nicer. So this doesn't give a breakdown. They don't do it. Very interesting. This whole time I was like thinking, oh wow, maybe I need $360,000 in cash. But it looks like you don't. You only need $115,000 in cash, $115,000 in short-term investments, which is like interesting, but is it like, do I need to diversify those short-term investments, or can I just have them all in crypto? And $65K in assets. But then with $115,000 in cash, I still like I'll still feel very anxious because I'm blowing 30 grand every single month. And what if there's just a bad month where we just don't get clients? Or what if I take a month off and I haven't grown out the sales team yet? Yeah, with these big companies, couldn't a 3-month crash just destroy everything? But I think the answer is they're just so diversified already, where no matter what circumstance, like for example, during COVID, when there were no more stock of Apple or they couldn't manufacture, they diversified and they were still able to survive through that period of COVID somehow, whether it's through iTunes, their software, App Store, their cloud services, they've diversified. So that means the next step for me is to diversify, because right now I'm just focused on the education company and it's really all on one funnel. So I need to diversify and create multiple streams of clients. Very interesting video. Did a lot of research. Hope you guys enjoyed a look at the behind the scenes of what it is like to be a 22-year-old entrepreneur that has 35 plus worldwide employees and it's growing to $1 million per year. This is a behind the scenes look of me doing research and just figuring out the bigger picture for the company. I have nothing to sell you whatsoever. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Drop a comment below, follow me on Instagram, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, like this video. I'll be picking the best comment every single video. Other than that, I hope you guys have an amazing day and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.